Pavanam Pavan Maduram Maduram Yopi Mangalam Yopima Mangalam Pavanam Pavanam Yopi Ram Sambhava Sarvamama Ramam Sambhava Sarvamam Yama Satyam Satyam Punam Satyam Harinam Ke Satyam Satyam Sagra Sapita Shavi Samata Bandam Isa Sagra Samapita Shavi Samata Bandam Isa Siksai Shitsada Smartam Venuke Siksai Shitsada Nisvasena Hivisvasa Kadarumodo Bhaveshaki Sra Kritani Yamato Harinam Kevana Kirtani Yamato Harisada Vaset Tatra Yatra Bhavata Janam Isam Say Matra Gandhi Bhakti Bhavene Nam Kake Gandhi Bhakti Bhavene Aham Kamahi Dukam Dukkha Dukkha Tara Ahudam Kam Dukkha Dukkha Tara Pachartam Smritam Ratnam Maham Keva Pachartam Diyatam Diyatam Karno Niyatam Niyatam Vacham Niyatam Niyatam Karno Niyatam 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 Hare Keva Jagat Rajate Sakalo Hari Raja Sarvam Rajate Sakalo Siddhanam Namah Sudam Harinam Ke Vedana Sam Sudam Harinam Ke Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Vidai Gopanande.
Yes, thank you. This Ashtaka, verse 8 verses, has an origin. And the origin is the fellow that you see, the photograph of the fellow that you see on the screen. His name is Nishikant Goswami. He was a contemporary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur at a time when, during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, there were too many deviant teachings of Lord Chaitanya's teachings, apasampradayas. Maybe you know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a book. One of his 100 books was describing the 13 different apasampradayas that were prevalent at his time. And Nishikant Goswami was a contemporary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur published his writings verifying that he's not one of those contemporary deviant Apasampradaya folks. He wrote 100 verses, it's actually a Shatakam, and published it. And these 8 were drawn from those 100. Nishikant Goswami, was a member of the Vishva Vaishnava Raja Sabha, which is like the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, only Vishva, like a universal Raja Sabha. Sabha means association or society of worshippers of Lord Chaitanya, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur co-founded and which Nishikant Goswami was a member of. So I'm going to read the translation of these 8 called Kevalastakam, because we didn't read the translation, we sang the verse. And here's the 8 translations. Madaram Madarebhyopi Mangalebhyopi Mangalam. More sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. That's the refrain. Harir Nam Eva Kevalam. That's the first. The entire universe, from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass, is a product of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality, again I say reality, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Strong. That person is a true preceptor, a true father, a true mother, and a true friend. Also, only if they teach one to always remember the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. So this is consistent with Mahaprabhu's teachings, verified by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is no certainty when the last breath will come and put an abrupt halt to all one's material plans. Therefore, it is wise to always practice chanting from very childhood. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. 5th verse. Lord Hari eternally dwells in that place where truly exalted, spiritually advanced souls sing in the mood of pure devotion. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Oh, what sorrow! What great sorrow more painful than any other misery in the world. Mistaking it as a mere piece of glass, the people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Verse number 7. It should be heard again and again with one's ears. It should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. And the final, it makes the entire universe seem insignificant as a blade of grass. Splendorously reigns supreme over all. It is full of eternally conscious divine ecstasy. It is supremely pure. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Makes you want to hear the other 94, isn't it? Or 92. 92. So where that publication is of the Shaktakam, I don't know, but this is a very nice rendering of the Ashtakam. And our plan for this evening is, along with singing and hearing the translation, is both of us are going to speak something on one of the verses, one of the 8. So for those of you that are regulars here, but you don't know the fellow sitting next to me, he's a nice devotee. Treat him nicely. His name is Paramarupa, and he came at my invitation to be a co-presenter during this weekend, the Japa retreat weekend. And if you want to find out what he spoke, it's recorded. YouTube, somewhere out there in the YouTube universe, you can find out what he wrote or what he spoke. And one of the unique things, I won't embarrass him. He's a PhD, but I won't say it publicly, huh? He made an app. So those of you that want to evaluate your own japa, you can evaluate your own japa, like what you're doing well and what you're not doing well. And he's a scientist, right? So you can listen to the recordings if you missed. If you did, you can hear it again. And he's going to speak on verse number 4. So here's the microphone. I'm going to go to verse number 4 so you can all see it on the screen.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. I'm just sitting here as a puppet in the hands of my spiritual master. So kindly give me your blessings and prayers so that just out of my nervousness, I can at least still speak something that is beneficial for all of us. So I'm going to focus on verse number 4, which goes like this. Nishwasin nahi vishwasa kada ruddho bhavishyati. Kirtaniya mato balyad hare nameva kevalam. So nishwase nahi vishwasa means no one can have any trust on how long one is going to live. So anytime kada ruddho bhavishyati, when that last breath is going to come, no one knows. And therefore, um, the author is suggesting this kada ruddho bhavishyati kirtaniya mato. Mato means his own opinion is that the kirtan or the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, let that begin as early as possible. Balyad. Balyad means from childhood. Prahlad Maharaj has this very similar advice that he gives to his classmates that Manusham Durlabham Janma. So he starts by saying that Kaumaram Acharit Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatan Iha Durlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. That the devotional practice, which includes hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., that should start as early as Kaumara. Kaumara means at the age of 5. And he's saying that this human birth is extremely rare. Durlabham Manusham Janma. So he's saying Tadapi Adhruvam Tadapi Arthadam. Adhruvam means it is temporary. Even though our life is temporary, but it can be extremely valuable. Arthadam means it's extremely valuable. So how can we actually put human life to value? Usually, life, if you analyze, becomes a struggle for 3 things: time, money, and health. When we begin our life in our early days, we have a lot of time, right? A lot of time. And what else do we have? We have health, but no money. Then we start working, we work like crazy, become so busy, right? At that time, we may have a lot of money, right? We may have also health, but no time. And toward the later part of life, what happens? We have time as well as money, but no health. And by the time we realize that, we have lost all the 3. That's the problem. That's the story of human life. Parikshit Maharaj asks a very intelligent question to his spiritual master, Shukadev Goswami, right around the time when he found out that he is cursed to die in 7 days. So he's cursed to die in 7 days. It's in one sense, really a bad news, right? But he also is assured of 7 days, correct? The question to ask, do we have assurance of 7 days? Right? So he has, at least in the form of the curse, he has an assurance that he is going to die at the end of 7 days. So he can maximally utilize those 7 days to the highest potential, right? So he asks Shukadev Goswami like this: Ata Prichami Sansiddhim. Ata Prichami Samsiddhim Yoginam Paramam Gurum. So he's referring to Shukadev Goswami as the greatest spiritual master of all the yogis. And he's saying Ata Prichami Samsiddhim Yoginam Paramam Gurum Purushasyiha Yat Karyam Mriyamanasya Sarvatha. What is it that one is meant to do for the perfection of human life in general, and also particularly at the time of death? Mriyamanasya Sarvatha. Mriyamanasya means at the time of death. Very interesting question, right? What is it that we are supposed to do now? Iha means now in this world. What are we supposed to do? And particularly at the time of death. And he spells them out actually. He's asking, what should one hear, chant, remember, and worship, and what one should not do? That's the question he asks. Now, you can actually analyze this question in this way. Suppose you are given infinite amount of time. Let's say you're not going to die. You have all the time. What are you supposed to do? How can you make the best utilization of that time? Suppose you have infinite amount of time, right? Another way of looking at it is you have practically zero time. You have been just told that you're going to die in next 1 minute. What are you going to do? So you can take these two questions and pose in these two manners. And the answer that Shukadev Goswami emphatically gives is that Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotatavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichchata Abhayam or Nuputo Abhayam. Usually in the material world, we find only one thing, that is called fear. Is it not? Our existence is just filled with one emotion, fear. Now, you can actually characterize that emotion in different ways. Like in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Raga Dvesha, not Raga Dvesha, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Rag, Bhaya, and Krodh. These are the three main emotions of human beings. Okay. Rag means attachment. We have attachment for certain things. And usually, when there is a mediocre or small amount of impediment, then what we get is anger. And if the impediment is huge, then we get fear. But overall, fear is a dominating factor. Bhayam dvitiya abhineveshita syat. Usually fear comes because we have forgotten our identity as a spirit soul, and we are focusing on our attention on something that is temporary. For example, we are misidentifying with this temporary material body, and we are considering all the possessions that we have to be ours permanently. And that creates fear because anything in this material world is only going to be subjected to flux, a state of flux. That's all is going to happen. And therefore, there is always fear. We are always in the grip of fear. So we are attached, we are frustrated, or we are fearful. That's the state of affairs in this material world. Is it not? And therefore, in answer to Parikshit Maharaj's question, Shukadev Goswami is saying, Akuta Bhayam. Like if you really want fearlessness, okay, then one should be doing this activity. Hear, chant, remember about what? Bhagavan Ishwaro Harihi. It is spelled out that one should be dedicating one's time to hearing about, chanting, remembering, and worshipping only one person, and that is Hari. Bhagavan Ishwaro Harihi. Ishwara means he is the supreme controller. So there cannot be any more emphatic response than this, right? And then he also answers the question, what about at the time of death? Ante Narayana Smriti. Our life becomes successful if we can write the examination successfully, right? What is the examination for us? It's the death, right? So at the time of death, if we can somehow or other remember Hari, then our life becomes successful. Very similar point is expressed in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita talks about how we move from one phase of life to another. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajatante kalevaram tatyat evaiti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavita. But our movement in this material world from one circumstance to the next is dependent on the quality of our consciousness. It's the quality of our consciousness that takes us to different varieties of situations of life and different species of life. And therefore Krishna says, Anta kalecha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samad bhavam yati nasti atra sanshaya. So Krishna says that if you want to make again your life successful, at the time of death, if you can somehow or other remember me, Anta kalecha mam eva. Now, in Bhagavad Gita throughout, one thing it's easy to miss is how much Krishna is emphatically talking about himself. He's adding mam eva. Eva means exclusively. Only me. There are many places like Devi Hesha Gunamai, Mama Maya Durateya. Then Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante. Again, Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante. Mayam Etam Tarantite. If you want to overcome the effects of Maya, then we have to exclusively surrender unto Krishna. Likewise, here also, Anta Kalecha Mam Eva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram Yah Prayati. Yah Prayati means at the time of leaving the body, if somehow or other, if we can remember Krishna, then we go back to Krishna Loka. Mam eti. So that is the real success of human life. And again, Shukadev Goswami is making the same point. And Krishna says that Sarva, it's not just about at the time of death. Can we really guarantee that we can remember Krishna at the time of death? How can we guarantee that? We can die in any situation. So how can we help ourselves? Because so to help that, Krishna is saying Sarva Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. So he's telling Arjuna that you can remember me at the time of death if you have practiced throughout your life remembering me. And that is why these two questions about what am I supposed to do now and at the time of death, they have the same answer, right? Because what we practice is what we will have the possibility to do at the time of death. Very simple, right? So here also it is said that Nishwasa Nahi Vishwasa. There is no guarantee how long we are going to live, right? And therefore, this practice needs to start. The practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra needs to start at an early age. Only then there is a hope that at the time of death, we can think about Krishna. Because chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is tantamount to remembering Krishna. It is said that Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddham Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. There is no difference between Krishna's name and Krishna. So therefore, when we are chanting Krishna's name, Krishna is immediately present. Therefore, remembering Krishna is the same as chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because while chanting, we are also trying to meditate on the sound vibration, which is non-different from Krishna. So the whole points that are being presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very clear what we are supposed to do now in order for us to make our life successful. I'm just going down the memory lane for my own life and just trying to think how I came into this phase of life that I am in right now. When I look back, when I was I was born in a Vaishnava family. Somehow or other, my parents were Vaishnavas. We were from Kolkata. There was a very high likelihood that we could have been Kali worshippers, But somehow or other, my parents were devotees of Krishna. So we used to be non-vegetarian. But at the age of 10, what happened is that somehow or other, they saw a newspaper advertisement about celebration of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And we were in Pune, not in Kolkata at that time. And they were really surprised and they were drawn to go there. And that was my first exposure to the Hare Krishna temple. So somehow or other at the age of 10, I came in contact with an ISKCON temple. And just by that spiritual influence that I had in the form of prasadam, in the form of aroma that was coming from the incense, in the form of the Harinam Sankirtan that was going on, just that spiritual influence somehow created a consciousness within me that I decided I'm not going to eat non-veg anymore. So I just decided that I'm going to quit. So then somehow or other after that, two things happened. One is, yes, I um, became vegetarian. Second is that I got introduced to this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And one particular habit that my parents inculcated in me, even before we came in contact with the devotees, is that after taking bath, I would always offer some flowers at the lotus feet of Krishna. So this practice I had right from the very childhood. And it's just that after meeting the devotees, I picked up another habit, which is just read one verse of Bhagavad Gita after taking bath. And this I continued um, even when I went to IIT, like in the hostel, I was actually carrying a small picture of Krishna, and also carried the same kind of um, experience that I was used to. So I used to offer incense and then read one verse of Bhagavad Gita every day. Now I did not have any realization of those verses at all because I did not have association of devotees. So when I came to US for the first time in the year 2000, the first thing I was looking for was an ISKCON temple, and then um, somehow or other in 2002, Krishna filled my basket with enormous amount of association of devotees, and I met my spiritual master also in that year 2002, and ever since then, it just the opportunities for growing in Krishna consciousness were just presented one after another. It's like I was flooded with opportunities for growth. And one interesting lesson that I want to share with you. Um, I was carrying a small picture of Krishna's face, and I used to offer my incense stick to that face of Krishna. It was cut out from a calendar, and this I'm talking about between 94 and 98, really long back. And then it so happened that um, many years down the line, I happened to be in California, and I started going to the Los Angeles temple. And Los Angeles temple had Rukmini Dwarkadish as the main deities, and I used to take lots of pictures of those deities from different angles, and had created a nice collage. So every morning, um, especially starting in 2004, I started chanting 16 rounds. And I had the habit of, in the dark, like early morning hours, I used to play the slideshow of those pictures that I had taken of Rukmini Dwarkadish, and I used to chant before them. And all of a sudden, one particular day in 2004, like I started chanting 16 rounds in 2004, as I mentioned. It so happened, I saw the picture in a particular angle, and I exactly matched the same picture I was offering incense to so many years ago. So that actually was shocking for me because I felt that it's almost like Krishna is chasing me. Like, so that was a validation of a particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajameham. When we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. He always reciprocates with our little bit of efforts. So why I'm sharing all of this is just to kind of make one simple point that whatever habits that get developed from early childhood, it just stays, and then Krishna's reciprocation just grows, and we are placed in the right association to come closer and closer to Krishna and develop deeper attachment to Krishna. And that's what happened in my own life. And therefore, when I'm reading this verse that Kirtaniyo Mato Balyad, I'm able to relate to it very well just by looking at my own life. I think that's all I wanted to say. And
He said a lot. Hard act to follow, right? He was well prepared. So I'm not so well prepared, but that's okay. I have a few years of devotional service inside, and that's going to come out. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but something will come. Now, I knew that he was going to speak on verse number 4, and it's one of my favorites also. So I was thinking between verse number 1 and verse number 8, because they're also very special. And it's a nice, my experience is this person that sings that first verse, Madaram, Madare, Bop, says it, 2 times, 3 times. It's kind of like a refrain. No, the Harir Nam Eva Kevalam, that's the refrain. But the very first verse is so special. I mean, so I'm going to speak about the first verse. And Madaram Madare Biopi, Mangale Biopi Mangalam, Pavanam Pavane Biopi, Harir Nam Eva Kevalam. So 3 things. Mangala, everyone knows Mangala, 4:30 a.m., right? All over the world. Could you imagine our founder Acharya coming to the West, seeing the modes of nature that the younger generation was impacted by, and establishing Mangalarti at 4:30 a.m.? He was bold, but he was pure. And the young people in that generation got up at 3:30 so they could take a bath and get there in the Mangalarti at 4:30 a.m. every morning. Mangalarti. And Mangalarti, it's Mangala because it's very auspicious. And one of the things we do at Mangalarti all over the world, and how many ISKCON centers are there all over the world? The number is growing, so who knows? Some big number, and growing big number, 4:30 a.m. But of all those centers that have Mangalarti at 4:30 a.m., there's a chanting of Hare Krishna. Now, we had a little discussion with one of the persons that were coming for the Japa retreat about chanting Krishna's name and chanting Radha's name. Chanting Krishna's name and chanting Radha's name, which is of greater importance. I mean, it's not a common topic in the Hare Krishna movement, but sometimes people ask a question like that. And there's one devotee, I won't mention his name, but he really likes Japa. And one of the things he encourages people who are chanting Japa, and he wants to encourage them to chant better, is how many times is Radha's name mentioned in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Twice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. She gets twice the attention of Rama and Krishna, because Hare is the vocative of Hara. It's also the vocative of Hari. But Hare, for us, for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, it indicates Radharani. And the vocative of Radharani is Radhe or Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare. So it's Mangala. The name Krishna is Mangala, and the Hare Krishna is Mangala. That's one of the slides that I don't know if you noticed, but from the Upanishads. Exactly. Sometimes the order is reversed by some people. They say Hare Rama first and Hare Krishna second. But the Upanishad indicates clearly that's the sequence. And that's the sequence that we follow, and others can follow the other sequence. That's fine. It's also names of the Supreme Lord, Harir Nama. But Harir Nama is meant to be accompanied. Here's a nice teaching. I like Bhakti Siddhanta. I can tell a story of how I became a devotee, but Bhakti Siddhanta had a big role to play in my becoming a Hare Krishna devotee. Well, another time. But I have a great regard for Bhakti Siddhanta. Naturally so, because he helped me go from La La Land to Krishna consciousness by his wonderful writing skill. And so one of the things that he teaches, many of you, probably almost all of us, if not all of us, know the very nice verse. We'll say it together. Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasyeva, 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 Gatir Anyata. See, you all know the verse. So, Harir Nama 3 times, Bhakti Siddhanta teaches that implicit is worship of Radha. Because we don't worship Krishna alone, we worship Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan or Sitaram, but not alone. They're with their Shakti and Shaktiman. They're inseparable, like sun and sunshine. They're inseparable. And similarly, when we say Harir Nama, implicit, not uttered, but explicit is the name, but implicit is Harikatha, like what we're doing right now, or reading or reciting Bhagavad Gita, just like many Bhagavad Gita slokas and Bhagavatam slokas. That's Harikatha. And that accompanies Harir Nama. Radha always accompanies Krishna. The hearing of scripture accompanies the chanting of the name. And that's the auspiciousness. Mangalebhyopi Mangalam. Madhuram. Madhur means sweet. What's not sweet about the sweetest? I like graphics a lot, and one of the nice things to do, isn't time to do it right now. But, a honeycomb, and bees are attracted to honey. Bees aren't so much attracted to vinegar. Bees are attracted to honey. You can attract bees with honey. You can attract souls with the sweetness of Krishna, because he's the sweetest of all sweet things. And Pavana, I'll end with this. Purification. During the Japa retreat, we spent a fair amount of time, so I'm only going to touch on the topic now, the importance of purity. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a process of cleansing. What of the Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Jai. I'm looking at Madhupati. What's the cutoff time? Now? We go a few minutes? Okay. You got to keep me on a leash because I'll keep going. So, and I understand when I'm done, there's going to be a 4-minute video, so I'll leave time for the 4-minute video also. So, Pavana, purity. Of all purifying things, it's the most purifying thing. Of all purifying things. Many of you have heard this little saying that Prabhupada gave us. And one of them is purity is the force. Preaching is the essence. There's a book published by the BBT. Preaching is the essence. Purity is the force. And then utility is the principle. Utility is distinct from false renunciation. Things that are from Krishna should be used in service to Krishna. That's utility. So purity is the force. So Prabhupada brought the Hare Krishna movement into the Western world filled with darkness and ignorance. And with his purity, he brought purity. And many young people wanted that. They didn't want the older generation stuff. They wanted the younger generation stuff. And here's an older generation person that was representing purity. During this Japa retreat, there was a nice lady who was brought up in a Christian family, as was I. And she wanted to know, what made you change from what you were doing to this? You know, I gave an honest answer, but a short answer is purity. Wow. And if you want purity, you look for it, try to find it. And when you find it, wow. Pavanam pavanebhyopi, harir nam eva kevalam. So through the chanting of the holy name, this search for purity is made possible. Cheta darpana marjanam. The first thing, the heart becomes cleansed. Cheta, the heart or consciousness becomes cleansed. Purity. And it's effective. One can feel it. One can experience it. One can experience it in audiences of people that are whatever they may have been. And if they stay with that process of purification, purity comes. Especially if the chanting is done in the company of those that are very sincere. I'll end with this, and then we'll go to the 4-minute video. So the people back there in the sound booth, please get the 4-minute video ready. For those of you that weren't with us during the Japa retreat, there were a number of persons who this was their first time experience of attending something like this. And they were like, a couple of people were almost in tears. They had never experienced anything like this before. For the first time in their life, they chanted 58 rounds, and I'll finish the other 6 rounds tonight before I take rest. And purifying, exhilarating. They didn't know they had it in them. But being in the association of others similarly focused, this is an advertisement for next year, by the way. Please come and join us for the Japa retreat. And of course, you don't need us to get absorbed, but circumstances can help you. And when you have circumstances, take those circumstances. If nothing else, we'll see you next year for whenever that date is. I don't know. And in the association of devotees who are striving for purity, something happens beyond their expectation. Like the number of persons expressed like that. So wherever you are in your spiritual trajectory, you may be here, you may be there, you may be there, you may be way down there. It's okay. Come and be in the company of those that are striving for sincere association with Krishna through the agency of his holy name. And it's a wonderful journey. So I'm going to end, and someone is going to do the MC so we can go on to the next thing. The sound booth up there can get the video going.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for Guru Maharaj. First, let us start out with the 4-minute video, and we can brief up and do the closing of the retreat. Okay.
That screen over there, or oh, you're gonna oh, yes.
So Prabhu is fixing this technology. I would like to just go over what we did with this, which was very deeply enriching Japa retreat, as Maharaj also explained. We sincerely request you welcome to the next year's Japa retreat now itself. Okay. So let us take a moment to absorb seeing this video for 4 minutes, like how it happened, how it unfolded. As Prabhu is fixing this technical issue, so where we began was exploring the foundations of the name of this retreat, which was enthusiasm, patience, and confidence. So we learned what the real enthusiasm is to endeavor executed with intelligence and Krishna consciousness. We went very deep. If you are interested, you can also look for the recordings of beautiful slides and also a lot of information which you can absorb. We also discussed how to chant, not out of obligation, with an intent, with the sankalpa, but as an offering from the heart, and how to take shelter of the holy name. So we do our japa or sadhana each day, but this will strengthen how to do it. We know that we are doing little bit off, so we should learn the right way to do with the blessings of Guru Parampara and the Lord Sri Radha Shyam Sundar.